when the king of Ashur sent the Rabshakeh to Jerusalem to intimidate, and he said, Hearken not to Hezekiah when he persuadeth you, saying, Yahweh will deliver us. Who are they among all the gods of the countries that have delivered their country out of my hand, that Yahweh should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? The people was silent, and answered him not a word, for the king's command was, saying, Answer him not. Then came Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, who was over the household, and Shobnah the scribe, and Joach the son of Asaph the recorder, to Hezekiah with their clothes torn, and told him the words of Rabshakeh, of the books called Kings, the 2nd, chapter 19. And it was, when King Hezekiah heard it, that he tore his clothes, and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of Yahweh. And he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shobnah the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to Yeshayahu the prophet, the son of Amoth. And they said to him, Thus saith Hezekiah, This is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and of contumely, for the children are come forth to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be Yahweh thy God will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Ashur his master hath sent to defy living God, and will rebuke the words which Yahweh thy God hath heard. For what reason? Lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servants of King Hezekiah came to Yeshayahu. And Yeshayahu said to them, Thus shall ye say to your master, Thus saith Yahweh, Be not afraid of the words that thou hast heard, wherewith the servants of the king of Ashur have blasphemed me. Behold, I will put a spirit in him, and he shall hear tidings, and shall return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So Rabshakeh returned, and found the king of Ashur warring against Lebanon, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And when he heard say of Tarahaka, king of Cush, Behold, he is come to fight against thee, he sent messengers again to Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Yehudah, saying, Let not thy God in whom thou trustest deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hand of the king of Ashur. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Ashur have done to all lands, by destroying them utterly, and shalt thou be delivered? Have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my fathers have destroyed? Gozan, and Haran, and Rethep, and the children of Adon that were in Talashar. Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Arpad, and the king of the city of Sepharwaim, of Hana and Awwa? And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers, and read it. And Hezekiah went up to the house of Yahweh, and spread it before Yahweh. And Hezekiah prayed before Yahweh, and said, O Yahweh, the God of Yisrael, that sittest above the cherubim, thou art the God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. thou hast made skies and earth. Incline thy ear, O Yahweh, and hear. Open thy eyes, O Yahweh, and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which he hath sent him to defy living God. Of a truth, Yahweh, the kings of Ashur have laid waste the nations and their lands, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Yahweh our God, save thou us, I beseech thee, out of his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou, Yahweh, art God alone. Then Yeshayahu the son of Amoth sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith Yahweh the God of Israel, Whereas thou hast prayed to me against Sennacherib, king of Ashur, I have heard thee. This is the word that Yahweh hath spoken concerning him. The virgin daughter of Theon hath despised thee, and laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem hath shaken her head at thee. Whom hast thou defied and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice, and lifted up thy eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? By thy messengers thou hast defied the Lord, and hast said, With the multitude of my chariots am I come up to the height of the mountains, to the innermost parts of Lebanon, and I will cut down the tall cedars thereof, and the choice fir trees thereof, and I will enter into the farthest lodging place, the forest of his fruitful field. I have dug and drunk strange waters, and with the sole of my feet will I dry up all the rivers of Marthor. Hast thou not heard how I have done it long ago, and formed it of ancient times? Now have I brought it, that it should be thine to lay waste fortified cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green plant, as the grass on the housetops, and as grain blasted before it is grown up. But I know thy sitting down, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy raging against me. Because of thy raging against me, and because thy arrogancy is come up into my ears, therefore will I put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way by which thou camest. And this for thee shall be the sign. Ye shall eat this year that which groweth of itself, and in the second year that which springeth of the same, and in the third year sow ye, and reap, and plant vineyards, and eat the fruit thereof. And the remnant that is escaped of the house of Yehudah shall again take root downward, and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and out of Mount Theon they that shall escape. The zeal of Yahweh shall perform this. Therefore thus saith Yahweh concerning the king of Ashur, he shall not come to this city, nor shoot an arrow there, neither shall he come before it with shield, nor cast up a mound against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and he shall not come to this city, saith Yahweh. For I will defend this city to save it, for my own sake, and for my servant Dawid's sake. And it was that night that Yahweh's messenger went forth, and smote in the camp of Ashur 185,000. And when men arose early in the morning, behold, these were all dead bodies. So Sennacherib, king of Ashur, departed, and went and returned, and dwelt in Nineveh. And it was, as he was worshipping in the house of Nesrach his god, that Adramelech and Sharahathar smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Urart. And Asorhaddon his son reigned in his stead. In those days was Hezekiah sick towards death, and Yeshayahu the prophet the son of Amoth came to him, and said to him, Thus saith Yahweh, Set thy house in order, for thou shalt die, and not live. Then he turned his face to the wall, and prayed to Yahweh, saying, Remember now, O Yahweh, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth, and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept a big weeping. And it was before Yeshayahu was gone out into the middle part of the city that the word of Yahweh was to him, saying, Turn back and say to Hezekiah the prince of my people, Thus saith Yahweh the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. On the third day thou shalt go up to the house of Yahweh.